We had a look at logical functions already on the slide. The if function I want to apply now is a logical function. Therefore, back here in the official docs, you can simply go down to logical functions and find it down here, besides some other logical functions. If you click onto it, you can find the definition and the syntax of this logical function. As you can see up here, the function returns a value if the condition is true and another value if the condition is false. What this means is, if a condition, in our case I want to make a condition based on the profit margin, so based on a specific level of the project margin. So if our margin is higher than a specific value, the formula returns true, so this condition is met, and we have to specify what output we want to have for the true case. In case the margin does not meet our requirements, the formula returns false, and here we also have to specify what should be the output for the false case. Let's go back to the project. And here, I want to base this if condition now on the profit margin column. So what I want to say is, if our profit margin is larger than 65%, for example, as here, here or there, then I want to return good day in the new column. If we are equal to 65 or below 65, it should return bad day. So again, table tools in case you're not there already, new column. Now let's give this field and therefore our DAX formula the name, and this should be maybe a day rating. So let's be explicit here. And now I want to say that if our logical test, which would be the check whether the profit margin, now we need a comparison operator, is larger than, well, what? 65%. We cannot use percentage values directly here in the formula. We can work with percentage values in DAX, that's not the problem, but not directly in the formula. Therefore, 65% as decimal value would be 0.65. So if this is the case, well, then I want to return what? A string. So 2 quotation marks here. And the string should say, not bad day, should say good day. So if we have reached this margin. In our other cases, I want to return bad day. So if we are equal to or below a margin of 65%, don't forget to close the parenthesis here. If we now hit enter, let's see if this worked. Yeah, looks pretty good. We see that here we have the margin which is above our limit. Here we are below, for example, same thing here and right there. And with that, our if condition works perfectly. So these were logical functions. Now I also want to show you filter functions. And the filter functions, again, back in the documentation, can be found up here. And as you can see, you have lots of different functions here available. And I would like to dive into one very specific filter function here. Down here, the related function. Related allows us to return a related value from another table. And for our project, what this would mean is that we could say that if we want to have also our sold units, because we have the total cost, we have the total revenue, the margin, but not how many units we sold, then we could of course go into our unit sold table and find the values right here. Or we can just stay in our revenue table and add the corresponding column right there. But for this, we have to create this relationship to the other table, and this can be done with the relate function. Let's give this a try. So again, new column, now called total units sold. Here our DAX function. Now we can enter related here. And now we can say that we want to refer to the column in the other table. But somehow this is not working, right? We don't get any kind of hint, any kind of help. So apparently we have a problem here. Well, let's have a look at the relationship view right here. Because as you can see, we have this calendar table, which we don't need here. We don't have any relationship between our two tables. And although relate allows us to retrieve information from another table, well, this relationship has to be established first. For this, we can create the relationship here with our date columns. As said before, these are exactly the same. So we can create this one-to-one relationship here because each date exists once in each table. And therefore, if we go back to the data view, now select our total units sold, and now try again our related formula, you suddenly see that we now have the option to access our units sold for the products. So units sold product A and product B. So let's select product A right here. Now, very important, we see that we have to use the table reference without the quotation marks due to our naming convention. And afterwards, we have to refer to the corresponding column. Let's now close this here and let's press enter. And this seems to work fine. We have 69 on the first day. Let's check this in the total units sold down here. Not 69, 96, sorry, but you see 96. This worked perfectly back in the revenue table. However, I would like to have the combination of both, so units A and unit B sold, and you saw that related only allows us to enter one value here. What we can do though is we can again use our plus sign here to combine these two different values from the two tables, and we can add a second related function here, now relating to the units sold of the product B, and don't forget to close the parenthesis. So very important here, as you saw it before, you could use the plus sign to combine the information from two columns in the existing table, but you can also use it to refer to two columns from an entirely different table. This is also working, so let's press enter again. And as you can see, now we have the total units sold for product A and product B. So these are some of the basic concepts behind the DAX formulas here at this stage, but very important only for newly added columns, for these calculated columns here I refer to. So each new column added returned a value for each existing row in the other columns. There is a different concept in Power BI Desktop though, which works a lot different here. And this concept is called a measure. What's the difference between such a calculated column and a measure, and how can we create such measures with the help of DAX? This is what we'll have a look at now.